Hi, welcome back to a new devlog for Stack Order, our roguelike deck builder in which you face bosses in 1v1 battles and outsmart them by playing stacks of cards creating powerful combos. In the last episode, we showed you how we went from a cardboard prototype to our very first playable version of the game. Check it out if you missed it. Today, things get much more exciting. We added a lot of content and new system that we hope will finally make Stack Order feel more like a roguelike deck builder. If you enjoy following the development, feel free to follow us on our socials and join our newly created Discord. There, you can share your ideas, take part in upcoming playtests and get exclusive sneak peeks. In this episode, we'll show you all the new cards we designed, the archetypes that emerge from them, the new zone that we built, how you'll be able to modify your deck between bosses, a first look at our merchant NPC, and even a brand new boss. Let's get into it. One of the biggest steps forward since the early prototype was expanding the card pool to really see how deep the game's mechanics could go. Back in the first playable version, we only had 5 cards. It was just enough to test the basics, but definitely not enough to create interesting choices. So, we began adding a lot of cards with different effects. Aura cards that stay active as long as they remain in the stack, cards that become stronger depending on the position in the stack, or even cards that can go in all 3 stacks. On the technical side, we also reworked our card and slot structure to make it far more flexible. Every card now has a modular set of properties that define where it can be played, how it behaves when stacked, and what kind of effect it can trigger. This system lets us prototype weird or unique cards really quickly, anything from multi-slot cards to cards that alter how other cards behave inside the stacks, all without having to rewrite the code each time. So, if you have ideas or suggestions for fun cards or effects you'd like to see, feel free to share them in the comments. We experimented with new statuses, keywords, and eventually full archetypes that allow players to approach combats in unique ways. Of course, this is still a first draft. Since we created a lot of cards, some of them may feel weak, repetitive, or just not fun to use yet. We'll keep refining everything as development goes on. But now, players finally have enough tools to experiment and build actual strategies instead of being locked into a single game plan like before.
Hi, I'm Axel. I'm in charge of the game's visual, animation, and artistic direction in general. I'm here to talk to you about the technical aspects of illustration and animation in the game, and more specifically for the cards, in our case. Card design also involves visual design. You need illustrations that represent the card's effect and make an impact. So, we are looking for a cool and varied design that, in addition to their effects, make you want to discover all the cards possible. To illustrate the cards, we tried several formats. First, the presentation mock-up format. After, we have a regular format that was clearly too rigid, and then a format that was somewhere in between, both light and recognizable, just what we needed. Now, I'm getting down to drawing each illustration, which takes time, as there are 30 to do. Especially since the card isn't just a drawing. It's a little animation made up of 4 frames. The idea is to loop the illustration, to make it more pleasing to the eye. Of course, the card's animation is not always enabled in the game, otherwise there will be too much visual information moving on the screen. The animation only starts when the card is displayed in full screen mode. Finally, the last step for the cards is to add an effect corresponding to their evolved version to each one.
While creating these new cards, we'll also begin working on the zone you'll explore between boss fights. These areas are essential because we don't want Stack Order to feel just like a sequence of battles. We want the world to feel alive, coherent and meaningful, with a real sense of progression to an unfolding story. Though, we might change how the player moves through this zone in the near future. Axel designed new background art, props and characters so each zone has its own atmosphere. Whether you're wandering through abandoned fort ruins, entering a mysterious temple, or descending into the eerie depths below, every area contributes to the world building and helps tell the story without relying on dialogue. We also added a world map that slowly reveals the regions you travel through as your run progresses. Compared to the single level we showed in the previous devlog, the game's world finally feels like a place you actually move through rather than just a backdrop for fights. On top of that, to reinforce the narrative and artistic direction, we added small comic-style panels between levels to immerse you deeper into the world and its story. So, with more cards in the game and a new boss on the way, we needed ways for the player to modify their deck during a run. So we added two systems. First, after every victory, you now reach a reward screen where you can pick up to 3 items from the ground. Only 3, because after that, well, let's say that you are going to be interrupted. There, you can find class cards unique to your character, boss cards inspired by the foe you just defeated that reinforce certain archetypes, and coins. And coins are pretty important, because you will need them for 2nd edition. The decking machine, a weird artifact that lets you spend 1 coin to either duplicate a card, delete a card from your deck list, or upgrade a card into a stronger version of itself. We really wanted these choices to matter. Do you duplicate your strongest combo piece? Do you clean out your deck? Or do you take a risk and upgrade your favorite cards? We're pretty happy how these systems feel right now, but it might change things to improve the balance. Also, we have a few more ideas to make builds even more unique coming later. To achieve this and make the world feel more alive, we also added our first proper NPC, the Mask Seller. He appears between zones and offers players the ability to unlock and swap masks. Our idea is that masks will be unlocked by completing certain achievements, and once unlocked, they stay available for all your future runs. You'll then be able to switch between them at the Mask Seller or at the start of your runs, depending on the build you're aiming for. For now, the different mask effects aren't fully defined. We plan to develop this feature later, and our goal is for each mask to significantly influence your playstyle or support specific archetypes. Feel free to tell us if you have ideas. Beyond gameplay, the Mask Seller also adds a touch of lore, both visually and narratively, just enough to spark curiosity without revealing too much. Over time, we want NPCs like him to become meaningful parts of your journey, showing up randomly as you travel through the world between boss fights. So with more cards and all these systems in place, it was finally time to introduce a new challenge, the second boss. Our main goal with this one was to create deeper mechanics and synergies between his abilities, pushing players to plan over multiple turns and really understand how the boss behaves in order to defeat him. We also wanted him to be tougher and more resilient, so we could see how players would use the new systems we created between the two bosses to reach the power level needed to take him down. Visually, he's an armored knight lurking in the depths of a strange cavern, and it seems like he's suffering from some sort of affliction. We won't reveal too much for now, since he's meant to appear later in a normal run, but you can catch glimpses of his design across the posts we've shared on our social media. Finally, after adding all these features and a few extra touches to make the demo more enjoyable, like a main menu, a very minimal setting menu, and a new NPC who gives you cards to try out different archetypes at the start, we were finally ready to do our first playtest with friends and a few selected people. And we received a lot of feedback, from balance issues and card readability to boss difficulty and overworld pacing. All of this helped us identify the first major adjustment we needed to make to the core loop, as well as which cards required a full complete rework to truly feel good. And that's exactly what the next devlog will cover. All the improvements, fixes and redesigns we made based on these early tests. We are currently working on those changes and we plan to run another playtest before the end of the year if we manage to do what we want in time. So if you want to participate, don't forget to join our Discord like I mentioned at the beginning of the video. The link for it is in the description. Also, since we are just starting out for these devlogs and are unsure about the formula, don't hesitate to tell us what you would like to see in future episodes. Would you like us to delve deeper into the technical side of things? Or would you prefer more information about the game's lore, for example? Anyway, thank you for watching this devlog all the way to the end. If you enjoyed it and want to follow the development of Stack Order, don't forget to subscribe and share the video. It's really helping the visibility of the project. See you soon for the next episode, bye!